Hey, this is Ron Felton here today, Home Inspection Services. We're just going to do a little bit of a tutorial on the average home's utilities and how to disconnect those utilities in case of an emergency. In most homes, you will find the electrical panel, the main electrical panel, on the exterior of the home. Pretty obvious what it is. Most people know what their electrical panel looks like. Some people, depending on like maybe pre-70s homes, are going to have a little bit more trouble identifying their main breaker. Some homes may not even actually have a main breaker or a main disconnect, but for the average home, it's going to be located somewhere inside of the main panel on the side of the house. Now, we'll notice that a lot of people will actually lock their panels, and if you're going to lock your electrical panel, we suggest you put the key somewhere that's very convenient, very easy to find. Inevitably, you're going to need to find it and locate it in a time when you're under pressure, and a lot of times you can't remember where you put that key in those moments, and so we suggest you just hang it on the inside of the garage or in the laundry room just on a nail or something, or just leave it unlocked so you're not going to have to stress over it when the time comes. Now, in this particular situation here today, this panel is the main panel, but there is also a sub-panel located in the laundry room of the home, and the individual breakers for the interior of the home are actually located inside. And this panel, the main breaker, is clearly marked as the sub-panel, and that would be the main breaker for the majority of the home. There is not a main disconnect in the panel that would control everything else in the panel, because the sub-panel is located somewhere else. So in this case, what we would do is we would disconnect the sub-panel, which is a 90 amp breaker marked right here, to disconnect the majority of the home. And then if you'll notice, we have individual breakers for the spa, the pool, and the AC. Now, if this didn't have a sub-panel, we would have one breaker that would be marked main, and if you've gotten your inspection report from us, then that will be marked with an arrow inside of the report pointing on the picture to where that main disconnect is. And simple enough, we're just going to turn that breaker off, and that is going to shut off the majority of the power for the home. Anything that's in that sub-panel, which is the lights and the plugs, the oven, those kind of things that are in the interior of the home, they will be disconnected. Now, one thing that you need to pay attention to is when a breaker pops, it doesn't always pop and flip all the way over like we did physically. It'll pop and it'll almost look like it's still lined up, and the way that you can tell it's been popped is just by putting a little pressure on it, and it will easily go back to the other side. I'm pushing this breaker here, and I have to push pretty hard to get it to shut off. So that's how you shut off the power to the home. We can go inside in a minute. We'll actually show you how to disconnect individual breakers, but that's your main panel disconnect. Now, simple enough. Close that up. Here's the gas meter. The gas meter, it's a good idea to have a tool that will easily shut the gas meter off. They do make a tool that fits that perfectly, and you'll find a lot of people will actually zip tie it right to the gas meter, and it'll sit here, and it can easily be snapped off in the event of an emergency. Again, when you're under stress, you don't want to try to locate a wrench to try to shut the gas off. You want to have that wrench available to you, and quickly, and you do need a wrench. You cannot shut the gas meter off by turning it with your hands like a normal handle. And I can show you real quick here how that happens. And this is just a normal crescent wrench, and as you see, this is in the vertical position. It is running parallel to the pipe. Now, all gas valves, when they're off, they run perpendicular to the pipe. And in this case, we would take this wrench and we would turn this, and when we turn it completely perpendicular to the pipe, it will shut the gas off to the house. So if it's straight across, it's off. When it's straight up, it's on. We're back on. Now, keep in mind, if you shut the gas off to your home, you will have to relight any freestanding pilot lights, such as your water heater, sometimes your gas fireplace, sometimes your furnace on older homes, but most of the time it's just going to be your fireplace that's going to need to be relit. And so gas meter, again, is easy to find. On older homes, the gas meter still looks just like this. On some older homes, the electrical panel does look a little bit different, and if you're in doubt or questioning what kind of electrical panel you have or how to shut it off, one of the suggestions I would make is to not wait until the middle of a storm when you have a power problem to try to figure out how to use it. You should go outside, investigate it in a time when it's convenient, when you can call somebody and ask them for advice. And if you can't figure it out on your own, give us a call or send us an email. We probably have pictures of your home, or we can actually help you by you sending us a photo. If you're not one of our clients and you're seeing this video somewhere else, send us a photo of your home and we can help you to try to diagnose how you turn off your utilities and help you. And so anyways, that's kind of it for this side of the house. Now, almost all houses you'll be able to locate the utilities by walking around the house, and you should do that ahead of time. And we're gonna move from this location right now. We're gonna move to the water shut off on the other side of the house, and we'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, and we're back again now, and as you can see, maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not, but we are at the front of the house. Now, I would say that on the majority of homes built after the late 60s, early 70s, you're going to find the water shutoff located somewhere in the front of the exterior. And one of the easiest ways to know is to locate your water meter. And if your water meter is in the front of your house, chances are that your water shutoff valve is going to be somewhere in line with that. Not always, but it's almost always going to be either coming up inside of the garage, and the shutoff valve will be inside the garage, and opposite of that valve will be a water spigot. And that will be an indication of that is actually your shutoff. Now, in a majority of cases, it's going to be coming right out of the ground, and right where it comes out of the ground, there's going to be a valve. And in this case, it goes from the valve to the sprinklers, and then from the sprinklers, where they come off, it's going to go into the house. And in this situation, it's actually going into a water softener first, but that does not matter, because when we have a problem with the water, simply enough, we're going to just go to this valve. And again, you're going to want to do this and test it out. Make sure the valve's not stuck. Make sure it's the correct valve before you have a problem. You don't want to have water spraying around inside of your house or have a flood to try to figure out how you're going to actually shut off your water valve. Now, this valve right here, simply enough, we're going to turn it clockwise, and if we do that, the water's off. You turn it counterclockwise, water's back on. Pretty simple. Some houses have what we would call a gate valve, and that looks like a handle, and you just turn the handle. It would be 90 degrees. A 90-degree turn on that handle would actually shut the water off to the house. Now, I would say out of the power, the gas, and the water shutoff, the water is going to be the one that's the least consistent out of all the homes. And there's no telling. There are some houses that you can go back to like the 1940s and 50s, and they don't even have a water meter. They may not have a disconnect on the house, and you can only shut it off at the water meter. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to end this video here today about this particular situation, and over the course of the next week or two, we're going to actually try to incorporate a couple more videos into this video, or a couple more segments into this video with other types of utility disconnects in some other houses that we're going to come across. So this video may be a compilation of several videos that are showing different types of water disconnects, but that's pretty much the average for all homes built after the 70s. You're going to find some kind of disconnect in front of the house. This is a little bit of an odd situation here. The sprinklers come off the main water line and there's no valve, and that's not good, because if for some reason one of these were to break, or somebody was to break this plastic pipe, you would actually have to shut the water off to the house to repair the sprinklers or this plastic pipe, which of course means that you don't have any water until the sprinklers are fixed. And so you really want to not have water to your house just because a sprinkler valve is broken or because you broke a plastic pipe on the outside of the house. I don't think so. There should be a metal valve here before it goes to the sprinklers, and that way you can make sure that your home is isolated from the exterior water. And so I think that's pretty much it for the water supply for the outside of this house. And then what we'll do is we'll try to add some more segments, and obviously you're going to have the segments for the electrical and the gas as well. and we'll catch you again next time. Okay, and so we're here in front of the house now, and we're just kind of showing you how to locate your water meter. I think the average person that has like maybe first or second grade spelling could probably find the water meter, because it says water actually on top of the water meter in most cases. But just in case, it's a square box. It looks kind of like this. You might need a screwdriver or something to get it open. In this case, the little inspector's valve was missing, so it's actually pretty easy to get open. And if you want to shut the water off to all of your house, then you're going to need a special little tool or a wrench. And in most cases, it's going to look like this. Can you get a good shot of that? Yeah? Cool. Now why don't you move here and actually look down inside of the meter and show them what it looks like. And I'm not going to talk too much because it's going to get loud. So now we turned it 180 degrees and the holes are lined up. That's going to be the off position. And one more neat little trick. If you ever want to see if your meter's actually leaking, or your water's leaking, is this little dial. It takes very little water to make that dial move. So if that little dial's moving and you don't have anything on inside, you might have a running toilet or a leak somewhere, and that's one of the ways to check. And so we're going to turn the water back on because we're actually getting ready to do a home inspection here. It's really hard to do a home inspection without the water. And that pretty much is the gist of it. That's our tool. You can get this for about $8 or $10 from Home Depot. And shut your water off at the meter. And locating your meter is the first step in knowing how your water comes into your house. Okay, so we're in the laundry, a little bit of a tight area to try to do some video. But anyways, we just wanted to make sure that we showed you also what a sub panel looked like, or in the case of where you have a main panel that has all your breakers in it, then your main disconnect would be clearly marked somewhere. If it's not, you need to find it and clearly mark it. A lot of times it's going to be easy to find because it's going to be a much larger amperage, probably 90, 100, 125, 150, 200. It's going to be the largest breaker in the panel, and that's going to be your main disconnect. Now, in this case, everything's clearly marked over here, telling you which breaker is which. And in the case that you have a breaker that's tripped, it's probably going to look slightly out of line. Now, it probably won't look like this, because when a breaker trips, it doesn't necessarily flip all the way to the off position. It just is in a tripped position, and when it's in a tripped position, it's just slightly askewed. And if you want to reset it, you'll have to put it back to the off position before you turn it on, or it won't reset. But anyways, that's basically, you know, all of your breaker setup. If you need to close more than a half a dozen breakers, that would be 6 breakers, then in order to shut all the power off to your house, then you might want to consider your situation, because there shouldn't be that many movements to kill all the power to your house. This sub panel is turned off with 190 to 90 amp breaker, and when that's shut off, all this is shut off, and then there's the AC, the pool, and the spa. So even in that situation, there's only 4 breakers that need to be shut off. And so we didn't do anything wrong. That's just somebody not shutting their alarm off. We actually have permission to be here. Anyways, that's pretty much it. And try not to make everything too serious. You gotta lighten up a little. Life's good. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Clearly mark your breakers. Again, you don't want to be in duress when you're trying to figure out which breaker goes to which. Take the time to go around the house and turn things off and know your house. You should know it. It's your house. When you call somebody for service, when you need to do something to your house, they're not gonna know anything about your house other than their general information about a home. It's good for you to know and to be able to tell them what you know about your house first. It'll save time, it'll save money, and it'll keep somebody from wandering around your house disconnecting stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be disconnected. And mark it good and know what's going on. And again, if you have questions, call us 209-946-5155. 4348, or send us an email at admin@homeinspectionservices.co, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, here we have a service panel that is exterior, much like the other one, but the difference is all of the breakers in this panel are actually contained in the panel itself outside. A little bit more of an inconvenience, obviously, if it's raining or dark and you have to go out here and try to reset a breaker, but nice that they're all contained in one area, and a little less expensive probably to run this kind of situation early on when you're building a house. But anyways, all the breakers are clearly labeled. There are AFCI breakers, which are a requirement after like 2000, I think, in certain areas. Those protect the bedroom circuits. And then GFI protection for the jacuzzi tubs and hot tubs and things like that. And then your main service disconnect. And here it's marked. It's a 200 amp breaker. It's right in the center. And pretty much the same situation as the other day. The only difference is all the breakers are contained in one area. And so that's just a little bit more information for you there. This is probably what I would say 70%, 80% of the houses out there, that's what their electrical panel looks like. Although this is 200 amps, and I would say that that is actually only a small percentage of the electrical panels out there. I would say that over 50% of the electrical panels out there are 125 amps or less. And so just, again, locate your main disconnects, know your system ahead of time so you're not flailing in the middle of the night or in a storm or when you're fighting with your spouse about what's going on, because, well, I've never done that, but anyways, I've heard about people doing that a couple of times. And so anyways, know your business, and we hope this helps you. Have a great day. Okay, and so here we have a little bit of a different situation than what we had in the other segment, and this water supply actually comes from the back. We are at the back of a house now, and this water supply actually comes from what we would call an easement between the two properties in the back of the house. Pretty common in houses pre-70s, definitely pre-50s. You would find a utility pole typically. You don't have underground electrical systems, no burial. The sewer and the water would both run down the middle of the properties. This is very typical. And so we also have a different type of valve here. Instead of just having the gate valve that we had in the other segment, this is actually a ball valve. I'm sorry. And the ball valve is very simple to shut off. Just a 90-degree turn. And then the water's coming in from the back of the house. And that's the other typical situation that you'll probably find in the other half of the homes that you'll see out there. Once in a while, the valve will be down in the dirt, and you'll have to dig it out, or you'll have to find a hole, a cover that you can take off, and you'll find the valve down inside there. And that's how this property used to be until it was remodeled, and then they installed PVC pipe here and redid all of this to where it's modern, up to the small amount of galvanized pipe that goes through the house, and then inside they changed the pipe over to copper, but left this piece of galvanized pipe inside of here. And this is actually an older setup with some newer configurations to it. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is, if you just walk with me right out here, now in this house, the sewer cleanouts are in the neighbor's yard, and there is one sewer cleanout right behind you for the home itself, and then the water supplies are on this side. And so this would be the easement. If you look up, you can see we have power lines running directly overhead down the middle, and so the water lines are running down through the properties this way. And originally this was dug up, and this was buried in the dirt out here. Come and look. Might be hard to see. Way down in there is the old valve. And then what happened is, since that valve doesn't work very well anymore, nice. what we did is we added the new valve right here, and this right here would be a backflow prevention device. Keeps water from backflowing. And what we did is we added one line for the sprinkler system and another valve that goes to the home's water supply. And so it's a little bit of a jumbled mess, but still below grade, so that's all that matters. And it had to be done that way because we were trying to tie the water lines into old stuff. And so it works. There is no leaky faucets or anything. Shortly after all this was done, this flooded, the yard flooded, and the county was called, and the county came out and they actually located the neighbor's valve just a foot away. It was unbeknownst when this work was being done. No idea that the neighbor's shut-off valve is just right here. And so I'm sure that is there you go. And there's the neighbor's shut-off valve down inside of there. Dug up by the county and repaired. And marked irrigation control valve, even though it's not actually an irrigation control valve. And so anyways, that's the common situations that you're going to find with your water shutoff systems. You'll need to locate this stuff. Again, do it ahead of time. Don't wait till you're having a disaster to try to locate this stuff. Nice and sturdy. Okay, and if you have problems, give us a call, 209-946-4348, or send us an email, admin@homeinspectionservices.co. Okay, so I think that pretty much concludes our videos for the basic ways or methods to disconnect the utilities from your house in case of an emergency. Again, we encourage you to go around your house, locate these areas, make sure they're the right ones, disconnect them, make sure you don't have power. Shut the valves, make sure you don't have water. Turn the gas off. Keep in mind, if you turn the gas off, you will need to relight your pilot lights, but know where that stuff is ahead of time. Do not wait until you and your husband or wife are fighting over where the key's at in the middle of the storm because it's your fault you lost it to figure out how to shut these things off, and we've all been there. So know these things. It's important if you're going to be a homeowner to know how to do these things. You don't want to be caught in the middle. Also, if you can't locate these things, we ask that you call us. You can call us at 209-946-4348. Contact us and we'll show you how to do it. You can send us an email at admin, A-D-M-I-N, @homeinspectionservices.co, and we can send us a picture of your particular situation, and we can probably help you with that. And if you're local to the Stockton or San Joaquin Valley area, of course, we can always stop by and help you with that as well. And we just want to make you a better homeowner, and thanks for checking out our video and giving us your time. Have a great day.